Demolition notices are still flying around Lagos State. Just recently, the Mende area of Maryland felt the sting. Now, the Lagos State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development says many more people who today pride themselves as landlords in Lagos, particularly those who have built their homes in the Oyeleke and Ekpe areas of the state, risk becoming tenants, as the state government has said that about 80% of the buildings in that corridor are unapproved. Well, joining us now is Dr. Oyeleke Ajiboye, CEO, Efficacy Construction, joining us right here in the studio. Great to have you on the program.
Thank you, Mr. Levy.
Yeah, so quite quite a threat there for that corridor this time. And I remember the story of the lady that her family, built their house in, say, February.
Yes, and, they purchased the house.
They purchased the house, actually, in February, and they got that demolition notice. But let's listen to what she had to say.
We bought that property in February. In February. And we've only been there for 2 months. For 2 months. For 2 months. All the hard work, all the sleepless nights, everything. If you're in Lagos, you know how much properties in Etios are cost. You know how much properties in Etios are cost. Each time my son see me crying, he will always ask me why I'm crying. Mommy, you've been crying. How do I explain to our son? How? What do I tell my children? I'm trying so hard to be a strong woman, but this is very painful. I don't even wish anybody a pain like this. I don't wish anybody to work so hard, so tireless, and face something like this. I don't.
Yeah, we've seen, some other people also, have this reaction, and it's quite painful. One day you're celebrating, becoming a landlord, then the next thing you find out that that property is no longer yours; it's gone. So break it down for me, because a lawyer I spoke to said there's no way you will construct a house in Lagos and you would not be approached, to get some kind of approval, at some point. So break it down for me. You're a developer. What's the process here, in getting a building permit?
Yes, this demolition happening is a very emotional topic at the moment and a very sad one. And I think to a large extent, people are falling victim because of what is happening in our society. There's a lot of compromise that people are doing now. I feel sad for the lady in that video we just watched. So somebody could have sold a land that that is a right of way and built on it. And the way Lagos State works, so when you talk about the 3 kind of demolition that is happening at the moment, we have the coastal road, which is a topic at the moment. We have the environment. And then the other kind of demolition is when you build inside a government scheme, when there's a title in contention. So if the land belongs to me and you build on it, then they'll put remove. Or if there's a title in contention. So for people that go and buy, they go and build inside a government scheme. And somebody sold a land without a title to you, and there's a superior title, then demolition will happen. But ordinarily, physical planning like what they said about 80% of Oyeleke, there's an amnesty going on down for people that own houses that don't have a building approval. They are giving them 3 months. The intention is to make people to come and regularize and document their documents. But if your land has a good title and then you are building, there is no way. Lagos has a lot of foot soldiers. They will get to you. They would give you a stop work notice before they seal it. If you break the seal, they will put a seal break before they bring a demolition notice. And when they bring a demolition notice,
construction is
ongoing. That's when construction is ongoing. Okay. However, because I said we have a problem in the society, somebody else will be telling them, continue, don't do this, don't do this. Now, take for instance, the person that also makes payments to government and then his approval is not yet ready and he's still building. We've had a lot of cases like that, but he has made payments. They've certified that everything is okay. They will still come because they want you to still have that approval. All the visits will more or less to stop you so that you can focus and get the approval. Ordinarily, they will not come for demolition. They will come and took the building and all that. But the demolitions that comes from Lagos State physical planning or LAPSCA would actually have to do with title contention. So if the title contention will start from buying the wrong land, due diligence, manipulation, or is not properly done. God saved me, even as a developer this year, I was going to buy a document with a CFO. I've gone to Alausa, sent my lawyers, they got the CTC. It was at the last moment, somebody in government just said, let me see that document again. And they spotted that it was fake. So for me, I've been practitioner for about 18 years. How?
You almost got
scammed. I almost got scammed. Yeah. So now talk about the people. So there's a lot of problem in this because real estate there's a demand for it. So you easily find people with intentions that are not sincere in it, that they want to scam me, they just want to claim out this same coastal road we are talking about. Yes, when they moved the coastal road, what I would have expected the government to do is to compensate before demolition for people that they moved the road into their property. That would have managed the emotions, the people's expectation, at least give them money. If they want to go to village, they want to buy a new house, they want to get something better, they will be happy. They'll say, don't worry, do your road, you've paid me. But when you have not settled them and you demolish, then there'll be issues, especially for those that they changed the direction of going. But the coastal road, I personally have known about the coastal road since 2007. 2007, the original one. And in some places, you will see that they left it. Even some Omonilers, the community, local people know that this is coastal. They didn't build on it. They left it. However, you will also see some people also that will sell that coastal road. And people will buy it as plots of land and they will build.
But when you go, do a search, it
will show. Meaning that people don't do search. People don't do search. And sometimes also, I would say that the best way to actually conduct a land search is when you give it to a lawyer, let the lawyer do the search and write the report on his letterhead. I had a recent situation like that a surveyor did a survey and he flew the coordinates. So let's say instead of the coordinate of where we are sitting, use the coordinate of 100 meters away. And so the buyer ignorantly went ahead to process a governor's consent, not knowing that the place the land is, the document is different for where it should be.
Right.
And when they now took the matter to Surveyors Council, they had to mandate the surveyor to return the money to the buyer, to return all the expenses of governor's consent back. Yes, the person has made a mistake by buying the wrong land, but you as a professional, you should have discovered that this coordinate is not correct.
I'm talking about, doing your due diligence.
Yes.
At this time, what's the rate like, if you're trying to do a search at this time?
Well, so I would use a legal firm to do my own, actually.
Okay.
And then they will do the search from physical.
On the average, how much?
On the average, maybe 100,000. Ordinarily, if you're not doing up to maybe 30,000, some lawyers will do 30, some will do 50,000 for a search. I think what you even pay to Lagos government CTCs, I think it's less than 15,000 to get a certified true copy of the documents. Then you can go to Surveyor General also to conduct a search, to search the land. They will do from their GIS, and Lagos has a very robust GIS now, so which is good. However, I'm not holding brief for Lagos State to say why are they doing demolitions like this, like that. For the one in the environment, I think one of the things that I would suggest that government should do is there could be an executive order from the governor to say some of you that you have built close to this canal, I will do a one-time order. You will contribute for government to spend money to do the concrete of that canal. So a typical example is in Mende, that the width of the canal, I think, is about 40 meters they're talking about. So if the government meets all of them and says, see, this is it, we have this option, but we are putting a face to this conversation. Contribute money, make it a concrete channel, but you will bear the cost. Because for us, it's not in our budget. We want it to be an earth channel. We don't want it to be flooded. But once you do a concrete, it becomes permanent.
Like how much would that kind of project cost?
Well, it depends on the width. It's not going to be one person. There are a lot of them on that line. Right. Yes. And they would sit down, even if it comes to, 50-50, government pay 50, these things can be discussed so that it helps the investor. Exactly. Yes. But the government will be wary of, if I go this route, they can make it a norm. That's where it comes at a one-time executive order to say, for this place, we are doing this. And if you don't agree to terms, that is all. I've also seen video of the Honorable Commissioner of Environment meeting people to say that they don't even have title, they don't have building approval. When you don't have those things at all, you don't even have a voice. But if you have a title, you have a building approval, you should be able to sit with the government should be able to sit with them and say, okay, so how do we go about this?
And to think, there's a cost of living crisis, right now, inflation. We just got inflation number for April.
Highest in 30 years.
Exactly. Rentals are 100% up.
Yes.
In less than 5 years, at this time. And, some would ask, the government should know that there's a cost of living.
There's hardship
People
out
are
there.
suffering,
yes.
At this time. And you're now turning, landlords, into tenants.
However, you see, while let's add sentiment to it, while there's emotion into it. So I have a typical case on my hand now. A land that is allocated to me by Lagos State Government, I paid for it. I'm working on it, and somebody comes and starts building on it. And you didn't buy from me. I've warned you. I've told you to go to relevant authorities. Whoever has sold this land to you have scammed you. And he's not listening, and he's still piling. So a day will come, they will put remove. How?
So most of the time,
sometimes people are also they have an issue. They have an issue. So that's why I said it's a deep society problem. The person that is selling a land that does not belong to them, that is selling a land that is on a right of way, that is selling a land inside a government scheme. Is that bad that you see Lagos government people giving possessions inside government schemes, and you see somebody that is still building fresh, where you see them demolition, and that person is building there and doesn't have a title.
Right. So let's look at developers now, the built environment. Some build and sell. Do we have such properties also being demolished?
Well, like the one in Maryland, I know it's done by a developer, but from the document I've seen online, they have building approval, they have CFO, they have clearances and all that. That's one the government should discuss and sit on the table. So the one the ladies bought now, I don't know whether she bought it from a developer, but also it's a society problem. There are people that are selling properties on that same coastal road that have been established before, not even the new one. So if you sold something on an old coastal road that is there, you're hoping that they will not do it. 50 years, they will not do it. So making all those kind of speculations will not work.
Right.
Exactly. So there are people.
So looking at all of this right now, how do you see it impacting sentiments towards investment in Lagos real estate?
Massive. Everybody is afraid. So everybody will be afraid, especially when you have a title and a building approval, and government is demolishing somebody that has a similar title you have, and you believe the title you have is sufficient. Then there will be fear. There will be panic. But if they see that the people that the houses are demolished are people that, yes, you built on Coastal Road, it's been there, and it's not even because they moved it. Okay, you closed the canal, you built there. People will understand. You don't have a title, you built on somebody else, and people will understand. So there has to be a lot of orientation and communication also from government to educate the people. Nobody wants to do business in real estate.
You see this getting to other states?
I watched one yesterday in Asaba. They were demolishing houses. I was just laughing at, okay, we are talking about Lagos, but this is also happening in Asaba. So it's a culture, is a Nigerian thing. We should learn to do the right thing. And the guy was on video. He's building a 2-story building. They're demolishing. They demolished something opposite him that they said they want to use it for a school. But when you know a land is not meant for that use, don't do it for that purpose. So irrespective of where you are in Nigeria, actually, if you buy the wrong land that has title issues, you will face similar challenges, except the person comes to the table and negotiates with you and then you clear off. Or you buy a land that is meant for an expressway and it's in the master plan, you would also lose.
So at the end of the day, you do your due diligence.
You do your due diligence, yes.
You
do
will
your due
escape
diligence.
demolition.
You will escape
For sure.
For sure. For sure, but I can't say for sure alone because of what I've seen in Maryland. So in some cases also there has to be negotiation. But when people have documents, they should be able to sit. The government should give them a listing here to look at them. How do we go about? That's what I would say.
So what
but to a large extent, you are protected by law.
Right.
To
what are you
extent,
seeing going forward at this time?
What I see going forward, the real estate in Lagos is like nobody wants to touch for now. But I can see that there's still demand anyway. The demand is there. The Lagos state government, I think they have enough opening ears. I've visited a couple of them that are in these decision tables to say, can you help us look into this? Can we come up with this method? There has to be investors' confidence to say, when you do the right thing, we will protect you. And so I think Lagos state government is going to look at it. Lagos is still the choice place to still invest. For me personally, I can, maybe because I've lived my years in Lagos, I can easily go and get documents validated, know what is meant to be. And I've followed all the master plans of Lagos. Every time it's been renewed, I make sure I keep a copy to ensure that I'm protected and my clients too are protected.
Fantastic, because it's quite it's quite mind-boggling
quite scary.
at this time, and scary to think that finally you've escaped being a tenant, and the next thing you're back there. But thank you so much. It's great having your perspective.
Thank you.
I'm Mr. Oyeleke Ajiboye, CEO of Efficacy Construction. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.